I'm Jeanine Nodder, and this week on Chatting with Jeanine, I brought in my chiropractor, Dr. Jenny Bruck, and her daughter, MacKenzie Cretsinger. Thank you, Dr. Jen.
So happy to be here again.
Thank you, MacKenzie.
Thank you.
So I know you were here on one of my early shows back when I first started in 2006.
We were babies.
Yeah, and we should have done a side-by-side. I didn't think about that. And you were also the guest for the 10-year anniversary special where we showed clips from the first 10 years of chatting.
So that was over 10 years ago.
Yeah, I
About
guess
10 years ago.
So this is 2008, and I started in 2006. So 18 years doing this.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to be on the show once every 10 years about.
Well, I can bring you in. Your sister's going to be here.
That's great.
Doing a show too, so you're on. And so it's kind of strange seeing MacKenzie all grown up. So like, I'm a stranger to you, but I know you. I remember when you were a baby.
She gets that all the
I
time.
do get that a lot, yeah.
And you used to do podcasts, and my daughter Eva and I were flipping through our old albums. I have a photo album of family and friends, and you were a little girl on the cover of a magazine, and I wrote in there, Dr. Jenny's daughter.
It was Mothering Magazine. It's no longer in publication, but they had called up the photographer that had done a photo shoot and asked if they could use it. That was cool.
And I also remember that when you were first going to school, you were always excited when it was miso day.
Miso day?
Yes.
What is that?
Remember they used to have miso like on the broth for the
Yeah.
soup?
Mm-hmm.
She's a Waldorf kid.
Oh, I do love miso.
That's so funny that she remembers that.
You're the owner of the Spinal Corrective Center and Vitality Studio. So besides getting adjustments, it's a whole way of life, of natural living, of that. No, I don't want this to sound like a nudist colony. Healthy living. So a wholesome, healthy living, and that's how you were brought up.
I grew up in that office.
So do you ever eat a Twinkie?
I've had one Twinkie just to try it, but it was not very good.
No. And
No, but I don't eat like that. No.
Yeah, kids were raised on no fast food, pretty minimal sugar.
We actually grew up on a farm, so I would walk to the farm, eat the carrots there, sometimes just eat a raw beet. Yeah.
I remember you saying with your son, you would just like wrap up a carrot and put it in his lunch, wrap it in a paper towel. And
Yeah, they were just raised with wholesome food as much as we could, get the food locally. They were still kids. If they went to a birthday party, they would have some birthday cake. We weren't that strict, but, we tried at least in the home to keep it, really organic and fresh and stuff that we could grow or we could get from local farms.
Yeah, and what I think was really important about that was that you and Dad really taught me the value of eating healthy. So when I went to a friend's house and they were having, Dunkin' Donuts, I would be like, oh no, thank you. Because I understood why I was eating the way I was eating.
Well, the funny thing is when I've done cleanses with you in your office, and after going, over a week of eating healthy, go back and take a bite of a cookie and you spit it out because you can taste all the nasty stuff in it.
Isn't that interesting? I find, I enjoy one, like a latte in the morning. That's typically what I'll do. And
I remember trying to hide it from you, though. I have a latte.
I didn't start drinking coffee till I was 40. And I don't have to have it every day, but I do enjoy one small latte in the morning. But I'll put like maple syrup in it, and then when I cleanse, I try not to use any sugar, even though we can have some maple syrup when we do the cleanse, but I try not to.
Honey.
And then when I go back to having a coffee with sweetener, I don't like it. It's too sweet.
I just drink black
so interesting.
coffee.
It's like our taste buds change.
Yeah, well, they do. I heard that every 7 years the taste buds change. So we should probably back up and just explain what chiropractic is, because it's been a while since you've been on the show, since I tend to wait 10 years at a time to have you on. and the big word is subluxation. Oh, and I'm backing up more. How old is your son?
So Max is 23 and Kenzie is 20.
All right, so you were...
He's 23 and a half.
You were pregnant with him. So
Yes,
it's only been 24 years.
It would have been 2000.
Next year it'll be a quarter of a century that I've been one of your patients.
That's amazing.
So.
And that's just wellness care. You get adjusted about every other week on average, and just healthy
I
wellness
started out
care.
with an injury, and when I did the show on acupuncture, I was telling the man, I don't know whether we talked about it on the show or before the show, that I was 35 years old, and I injured my back. and I was in so much pain.
You were an aerobics
Maybe
instructor
it was
back
before
then.
that. I was not there. I started running when I was 35.
Yeah.
All of that, teaching aerobics, running marathons,
Yes.
all of that came after care, because before care, I
couldn't do
didn't even have my son. My
Right.
27-year-old was a baby.
I remember. And then, you know, we were adjusting and taking care of the kids, the youngest ones from birth, which was pretty remarkable.
Right. So, well, Wesley was a baby, and then Blaze, I got pregnant after I started going, because you fixed everything and everything worked again, and I got a baby.
Yes. Sorry.
That's all right. No, we love him. Oh my gosh, he is so fun. He's like he's a comedian, my youngest. So yeah, I guess you haven't met him, Blaze.
No, I haven't.
But are
He and Max are about the same age.
Yes. And how old are you?
20.
And you want to be a chiropractor as well?
Yes, I do want to be a chiropractor.
Are you going to go to Palmer College?
Possibly Sherman College of Chiropractic.
Where's that one?
It's in South Carolina, Boiling Springs.
Oh, okay. Because at Palmer College, that's where you went? Mm-hmm. Ronald Reagan was a sportscaster at the radio station.
At WOC.
And he was so good at broadcasting sports. People thought he was actually at the sporting event, but he wasn't. He was just really good.
And fun fact, so B.J. Palmer started that radio station. He was the developer of Chiropractic, and they hired Ronald Reagan, and the call letters for that station was WOC, and that stands for Wonders of Chiropractic.
Oh, interesting. So this is what I've learned from all these years of seeing you, being your patient, is the brain sends the messages down the spine. Those messages go out through the little holes in the vertebrae to the central nervous system, to the peripheral nervous system, to the rest of the body.
Nice job.
So that's why, you know, if you've got a pinched nerve in one of the vertebrae, then you're not getting 100% energy to wherever that leads to, like your liver, your lungs, whatever. And you remove the interference, the subluxation, energy's on, energy flows. So it makes perfect sense. It also ties into yoga. Why yoga makes sense, because you're stretching that same vertebrae, holding that position, let the energy flow through.
Well, and it's really about varied motion too. So what happens is our spine can get really locked up because we're not moving it enough. So when you think about yoga, you're moving your spine in varied ways. Whereas if your lifestyle is just you stand up, you sit down, you sit at a computer, maybe you run, you don't have much twisting or bending, our spine can really get stiff. It can get locked up, subluxated, and the nervous system can start to dysregulate or start to be irritated. So think of it, chiropractic is like exercise for your spine. It's making sure all the joints in your spine are moving properly.
What makes the snapping noise? As you know, some people are afraid to go to the chiropractor because they hear that noise and they think that you're crunching their bones.
So we call it a cavitation. It's technically a gaseous fluid that's in the joint space. And when a joint is locked up, it gathers in a pocket. And then when you get the joint to release, it evens out the distribution of the gaseous fluid. So it's kind of like if you take a can of soda and you pop the top, you hear that noise because the gas is releasing from inside the can. So it's really not the bones crunching, it's the evening out of that gaseous fluid. And you know, not every technique has to have that experience. So, you know, if somebody says to me, I don't really like anything aggressive, I don't want to hear the noise, we have techniques that don't have any of that.
Because it freaks them out. Oh,
But it's not, that in and of itself is not necessarily indicative of whether or not the adjustment was appropriate or powerful. It's satisfying and it releases endorphins, but there's techniques that you don't actually hear any type of cracking or popping. So we really just figure out what's best for the patient.
Well, when I first started going, one of your longtime patients came in and you did an adjustment. She just, that feels so much better. And I'm like right away, instantly. So I wasn't there yet because I started with an injury. So I had to go 3 times a week. But so I was 31 years old, I think, when I first started going to see you. And my son was born when I was 34. So
that makes sense.
And I was already teaching when I was pregnant with him. I started teaching. But all of this came after the chiropractic adjustments, running marathons and teaching aerobics and all of that. An amazing amount of energy I gained from being a patient of chiropractic.
You know what I loved about your story is, like so many people, you found chiropractic because you were in crisis. Your body was inflamed, it was locked up, you needed help, you didn't want to just take drugs, you wanted to try to figure out what was wrong, right? So even though you might have had to take pharmaceuticals to manage pain, you still knew, I need help getting my spine healthy again. So you went through the process, right? And that might be 2 or 3 times a week, and you started to get healthier. In that educational aspect of that timeline, you started to understand that chiropractic can be so much more than crisis care. And I remember you being inquisitive, like, oh, and why are there babies here? And why do people come in smiling and happy and they don't clearly have a problem, right? And so you tapped into what I really believe is the power in chiropractic is just to keep your body healthy, keep your nervous system regulated, and not just to avoid an injury or a crisis again, but to actually maximize performance, to maximize function, to feel great. You know, because people come in and they think what they say to us is, I want you to fix my pain. But really what they want is to feel great and to live fully. And they sometimes don't even know what that is. You know, people have this, their light is so dimmed sometimes, they don't know what it is to live brighter or to live fully functioning. And so the more your nervous system's letting your body function the way it's intended, you know, we live our life through our nervous system. It's all our senses, it's all our function. And the more our nervous system is regulated, the more the body can function as a whole. And even the mental and emotional capacity to feel even in your life and to feel like you're at a state of ease. And so as you figured that out, as you saw the value in that, you stayed under care, you got your family under care.
Yes.
And the
and
long
we had
term.
some amazing results with that. My daughter wore glasses when she started care. Her, I don't know, she must have had something pinched in her neck because the neck would lead, the neck vertebrae.
Yep.
What am I saying?
The upper cervicals are the nerve supply that goes to the senses.
That goes to the eyes. She didn't need glasses anymore.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, my son Patrick had asthma. He didn't need an inhaler anymore after going to see you. And then my son Paul had psoriasis.
I remember.
And nothing was helping. I was even had the doctor write a note so he could go tan because being in California, he didn't have such a problem with psoriasis because there was enough sunshine, enough vitamin D. But he needed more than that, and chiropractic is what helped him.
And what's interesting, it's not like we do a psoriasis adjustment, right? It's just
Right.
when you
You're not
make sure
treating
that
symptoms.
when the nervous system is being regulated, the nervous system can function. Your nerves go everywhere. They go to your skin and your liver and your kidneys and your stomach. So it's not like we can fix everything because we're also a product of our environment. So how we eat, as you know, and how the toxins that we put in our body or that we're exposed to, and how we sleep and how we manage, you know, all of the mental stimulation. So there's a lot of reasons why the body starts to not work well. But when your nervous system is regulated, you have such an advantage. And that alone can make things like psoriasis change or eyesight change. We see that in practice. It's really quite remarkable.
I got to bring MacKenzie back into the conversation. Being a student of chiropractic, can you explain innate intelligence?
Innate intelligence, like kind of
inborn.
Intuition of your own health and stuff like that. Because, I mean, when I was young, anytime I would get sick or not feel well, I'd always ask my mom to adjust me or my dad, and I always felt a lot better after that. But I think, you know, growing up with the thought of figuring out what it is that's going on with your body when something doesn't feel right, trying to figure that out intuitively, especially from a young age, I think that's very, very beneficial as you get older. And I've noticed that too, especially when I go out to college and I, you know, don't get adjusted every day by my parents. You know, it makes a big difference being able to see that, and I can tell when something's off.
I remember you were little, like I'm guessing 4, maybe 5, and you woke me up in the middle of the night and you said, "Mom, I think my body's trying to heal with a fever. Could you please adjust me to help my body heal?" And I remember thinking, I know, she's getting it. So, so we adjusted you, and I remember the next morning you felt better. And, you know, obviously not every child has the ability to wake up their parent who's a chiropractor, but you knew your body was trying to heal, and the adjustment would just help that inborn healing or that innate intelligence to heal better.
And that's why I think it's so important to listen to your body, especially if you know it's something that there's something you can do about it. Like if you have a headache, it's important to start drinking water. Okay, if that's not going away, what else is there that I can do instead of just, you know, taking an Advil and making the pain go away, something like that.
Yeah. You used to offer, or you probably still do, offer all kinds of workshops. I've been to workshops on the importance of sleep, and I do sleep, by the way. Remember, I didn't used to sleep, and you always get on me about that. I do sleep now.
You just always had so
go to
much
bed
to
early.
do.
I know.
This is the woman who's like 9 months pregnant and she's wallpapering her closet.
Oh yeah,
Do you
yeah.
remember
And
that?
when I was in labor, I wallpapered my neighbor's living room. She said, "Come on, I want to hold the baby, so let's get this going. Go walk some laps." I'm like, "No, I don't want to." She said, "Well, put my wallpaper up." Okay, I'll do that.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
Yeah, toxins in the world. I just mentioned that recently they had something event going on in the meeting room here in the Merrimack Town Hall, and one of the speakers talked about toxins in fibers of carpet. So she has a natural carpet that has stained with spaghetti sauce, and I went, oh, and you did too, and you were younger.
Your bedroom. I don't know if you know this, but the playroom, it was an organic wool, 100% wool carpet. In the
with
playroom.
Spaghetti sauce on it because it didn't come out.
Yeah, it got stained. I picked way too light of a color. That was a bad choice. It was so expensive.
Especially in a kid's room.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, one of the biggest shocks was that first cleanse. I will never forget the first cleanse. That's where we only ate. I even remember, your sister was there. I remember everything that she said to us. I still remember almost.
Wow, that was one of the first time we did cleanse, because in the very beginning she helped me because she had been doing them longer than I had. Wow.
We ate only foods that are easily digestible, and it was really life-changing. I'm like, and there was all kinds of weird things. There was because everything has to come out. It's like you like feel it. I had a bone bruise prior to that, and it just, to me, it felt like that was coming out through the skin. It was like, it's hard to describe what was happening. There was a woman who got so emotional, she was watching a commercial and started crying. I was like, okay.
Well, because we hold in toxins and we hold in emotions. So oftentimes when you detoxify, it's like the body releases old stuff. It's very interesting.
It was, yeah, that first time. And the hardest thing for me was you made us give up coffee, and I just went cold turkey, and it was so painful, physically.
But then we got you into Dandy Blend.
Yes, I still drink Dandy Blend, but I love my coffee, and I'll never give it up again. But that first time I did give it up, and
You're so cute.
I couldn't sleep. I was in so much pain. I had to sit up in the chair, and you asked me, well, what are you doing about it? I said, I'm just sitting there being mad at you.
That's funny.
But I did give up the coffee, and I was fine. And then all it took was somebody saying, don't leave. Always remember to save time to have coffee with a friend. And that was it. That triggered me back on the coffee.
Interesting.
And I gave it up one other time, and then when the pain started, because it shoots up my back, horrible pain all over, and I can't lay down, I have to sit. I made a cup of coffee, and the pain went away instantly.
Interesting.
So
you know how I feel about coffee? I think, one, if I'm going to drink coffee, well, if I'm going to drink coffee, I want it to have as minimal amount of toxins, molds. There's a lot of difference in the quality of coffee. Yeah. So, I drink, it's called Purity coffee. It's just an organic coffee I can get online that from my research, is one of the best you can get. So having high quality coffee, at least where I can control it, like at home. High quality milk, if I put that in there. I use pure maple syrup. And then I just don't like the feeling of my body has to have it. So every once in a while, I'll just take 3, 4, 5 days and not have it, just to kind of reset. Because I just don't like that feeling that I have to do something. It's not good for the body.
Yeah, I'll do that too. And when I do take a break, sometimes I'll start having matcha or something, because it has a little bit of caffeine in there, but it also has a lot of antioxidants, and it's not the coffee, so that's a really good substitute that I like to use.
Yerba mate, we did that a lot on the cleanse.
Oh, yerba mate, I remember
yeah.
that. So you recently did a carnivore
diet.
So.
So for my senior project, I did the carnivore diet. So I had a family friend who did it, and it seemed to work well for her. So I was just really interested to see what that would do for my body. So for 2 months, I ate meat and only meat.
That was a very expensive couple months for our family.
Only meat. What kind of meat? Bacon?
Sometimes. I had a lot of steak. Steak was a go-to for me. I had some chicken. Ground beef was, I had that a lot. But I really made it. I really made a point to have good quality meat. That was probably the most important part, because the quality of meat can change the nutrient density so much. So I really tried to do that. Ate 100% organic, grass-fed, and it was really interesting to see the difference in my body. I did have a lot more energy. My gut felt a lot less inflamed. I never got bloated, no matter how much I ate.
Wow.
And I think that I do like meat. I actually liked it the more I ate it, but I don't think it was sustainable for me. I think that it was good that I did it. I felt like a cleanse kind of for my body.
How long did you stay
It was for 2 months. And then I
2
slowly,
months of meat?
yeah.
2 months of meat.
Yeah. And then I slowly added more foods. And fruits I did really well with. Some vegetables I found I did not do well with. And I think that's probably the most important part of the cleanse for me, was that I was able to see the effect of different foods that had on my body. So when I ate tomatoes, it made my face really red. Broke out. Like I didn't do well with that. So I found that nightshades didn't work for me. So I think that's really important too, to see what kind of foods have a reaction for your body.
Yeah, that was the cleanse that we did in your office. There was no nightshades, no potatoes.
Yes,
and we took out all these
And
these
then you
things.
test it to see how your body responds.
And then you have a
Exactly.
lot. Like if you give up corn, then you have a lot of corn.
There's a lot you can learn about your body when you take a food out for a period of time and then introduce it. And that's why we introduce the foods one by one that we take out, so you can see how your body responds to dairy, or how it responds to wheat, or to corn, or to nightshades, like potatoes.
I think what was really helpful was I called it the group therapy, because we would have meetings, and I'm like, that's the only way I could do that, because
And potlucks, people would share food.
Right.
We
I
still
try
do cleanses
my,
twice a year. You should
I
do
know.
it again.
Well, I try to do them on my own, but I can never get past a week.
It's the group mentality. It
You
helps.
got to have that group therapy.
Yeah, my brother did the carnivore diet with me, so that helped so much.
And we kind of all did to some extent, because
Did you
Yeah.
lose weight? I mean, you're very thin to start with.
I really didn't fluctuate in weight. I never really have in my
She's
life,
so
so
intelligent. Just love it. I just remember you being a baby girl playing with toys in your mom's office.
yeah, I didn't lose weight, but I actually, I did look thinner in my stomach, and I think that's just because
So she
I
went
wasn't
from-
That's the
inflamed.
selling point.
She went
Yeah.
from a 6-pack ab to an 8-pack ab. That's what
Oh,
happened.
wow. I don't know if I could afford to do meat for 2 months, but
It's
see, I'm
not
a
cheap.
Greek Melkite Catholic, and so during Lent, we don't eat meat, dairy, olive oil, all things, and alcohol. I'm like, really? Do we have to get
But you can have coffee.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. No, my coffee's sacred.
Now the question is, would you give up the coffee?
No,
It sounds like you should give up coffee for Lent.
no, don't. No.
Usually when someone fights it that hard, it's what they really should do.
I know. I look forward to it in the morning. I love the smell of coffee, and I'm really bad because I like dunks. I mean, I've tried all these different coffees. I tried, ones that are supposed to be really good for you, and I'm like, I always go back to the dunks. So that's my vice in life, and I love it.
Here's an important point, though. So for our listeners, is if somebody were to come into, say, our office, and we were having a cleanse coming up, that is something that I would never talk somebody into doing, because that's an example of, if you wanted to do something like a cleanse or go off coffee for yourself and see what it's like, you would probably be successful. But as adults, I mean, that's something we come to. So people might learn about the benefits of going off certain foods for a period of time, or the benefits of changing their diet. But I have learned over the years that you just kind of let people know what you're doing or why you're doing it, some of the benefits, and then let them come to you and say, hey, I think I want to do this. And that's the group of people that are meant to do it, right?
Yeah. You used to have a doctor in your office named Dr. Christopher
Chris Hauk.
Hauk.
He's
yes.
fantastic. Yeah, he has his own practice now in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
It's a
he was on the
family.
show like years and years ago when we talked about shoulder injuries. But after I'd given up the coffee, and you were always telling me not to drink coffee, and I was on the front page of the newspaper with a latte, and I walked in, and he says, "Busted." We all saw. We're like, "Oh no!"
That's funny.
Yes.
Do you feel better now knowing that I drink coffee?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't drink Dunkin' Donuts, though.
And yeah.
Nothing against it. I'm just saying I drink pure coffee.
Yeah. I also, from your sister, I learned, she said that you grew up the way I did. You know, we would fry bologna, we had white bread, we had Velveeta
Campbell
cheese,
soup.
the plastic cheese and all that stuff, all this processed food, terrible food. And when she was first learning how to eat healthy, she went into the store and says, "Excuse me, do you have bok choy? What is it?" And those are her exact words. I have audiographic memories, what I was trying to say earlier. And so quinoa, I never heard about quinoa before I met you people. And now I love these things. I love all these healthy things.
I think that's an exciting thing about changing your diet is what's hard about it is you get so used to what you eat. And so when you're forced to try something new, the most common thing is people will get so excited about, say, baked kale chips or hummus and rice crackers.
I love hummus. Whole hummus is my favorite.
They'll learn new foods that they didn't know that they loved because they're trying something different. Or bok choy.
Or trying new recipes, starting cooking, which can be really exciting.
We do a lot of cooking at home. We enjoy. I just made these new coconut lemon balls. That's a great thing about like social media. Like Instagram always has lots of recipes, so we'll save them. We have a shared folder, and then
I still have the folder from that first cleanse, and that was so long ago. I don't even remember when it was. It's old.
We still give out a big paper folder with recipes.
But in my folder, because from the first cleanse that you ever offered, I have it, and it says at the bottom, future cleanses are 50% off. So I need to show it to you so that I can. So will you still honor the coupon?
Okay.
We have a minute left.
For you, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Being a patient for 25 years and 24 years, almost 25.
That's great.
So, well, thank you so much for being on the show, and you can come back again. Your sister's going to be here. We're going to be talking about eating the right foods for your blood type.
Oh, fun.
That'll be interesting.
Fun.
And best of luck to you and your chiropractic college.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And I hope you find good things to eat at the school. I was going to ask you about that.
I will, yes. I do my own grocery shopping, and I do my own cooking at school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She's quite the cook.
You have a reason to be very proud of your daughter. So,
Thank you. I am.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I love you both. You know
love you
that.
too.
Okay. And thank you for watching.